Alrighty. Okay, I just checked the audio and it looks like we're coming through just fine. Hello viewers, my name is Sydney Winston. I am an atheist activist out of Vancouver, Canada. You know, Otangelo, he just cannot leave well enough alone. I mentioned Otangelo in my previous video stream, I think right at the end or somewhere through there. But then I came across somebody else who has not a beef, but has a conversation with Otangelo. Now, it's a 15-minute long recorded conversation in like double speed. So I've had to have the speed in order to sort of keep up with otherwise it just runs off and you can't really understand it. So it's adjusted for speed, just so you know. And what I'm gonna do is just bring it in here. That's the art. This is on Alfred North Whitehead's YouTube channel, and I just had a quick look at it, and it's all so far. He's only got a handful of videos up there, but they've all got these sketches. Very nice, very nice. So I am going to step back from between the two of these people, Jack and Otangelo, and I'm just going to listen into their. Okay, just listen. It's if you find the audio kind of weird in terms of the pace, it's because it's at half speed, because it was recorded, or it was uploaded at double speed. Bye-bye.
Was just luck, and the third is that our universe couldn't be different, that it must be life permitting, so physical necessity. But since there is no physical necessity, the universe could be non-life permitting, and chance is a bad explanation, so therefore intelligent design is the best explanation.
Jack, how do you... Sounds like an abductive argument.
Yes, abductive reasoning to the best argument.
Jack, how do you respond?
I mean, I think that I think Dawes and Oppie have shown that there can't be any good abductive arguments for the existence of God.
Well, he would have to substantiate that the God option is not possible. I don't think he has done so.
It's not a question of it not being possible. It's just that it doesn't qualify as a good explanation.
Well, then he would have to substantiate why the alternative explanations are better.
No, there doesn't need to be an alternative explanation, right? The point is that the theistic explanation is not a good explanation. So if it's not a good explanation, we don't have reason to accept it. That's
well, if you say it's not a good explanation, you have to explain why.
Well, it's just a mere just so story.
Well, I don't think so. I think fine-tuning.
Well, if it's not a just so story,
I mean,
it's not a mere just so story. If it's not a mere just so story, then presumably there's some way to independently verify it. So what would that be?
Well, the thing is that we know that fine-tuning always requires a fine-tuner.
Just asking you what the way to independently verify it. I just asked you what the way to independently verify it.
We cannot verify that. No, we cannot verify what
so
was
then you're conceding
the
that it's a
mechanism.
mere just so story.
No, I am saying that we are using abductive reasoning to the best explanation, which is a valid way of concluding something.
The issue is this, right? That if it's not a mere just so story, right? There's some way to independently justify the proposition. You're saying there isn't a way to do that, so you're conceding that it's a just so story.
No, I am not. I am saying here's the evidence.
Then there's
the
a way to
universe...
independently Sorry.
Okay, hold on a second. I have to step in between these two because I need to hear this. I need to focus and concentrate. So as you can see, I've got one ear on Jack and one ear on Otangelo, so I can get the best audio possible.
So there's a way to independently justify it?
Well, I am not saying it is a just story. Why?
Yeah,
Point one.
right. So what I'm saying is, if it's not a just so story, there's some way to independently verify it, right?
Well, I don't...
Okay. I need to just quickly recognize the chat room. The chat. Hello. Good morning, Ivan Vane Bean and Darth Dawkins Debunked the website. I watched your video, DDD, and thank you for the mention. So yeah. Let's get back to Otangelo. Is you know Otangelo debunked. Otangelo is Darth Dawkins' kind of sycophant. He's like little sort of he's a like little puppy dog with his tongue out, waggy tail, following Darth Dawkins. And here he is having a conversation with Jack Angstreich, and not doing too well at all. So here we go. Let's carry on.
I don't think it is necessary to verify in order to negate
I didn't ask
the claim.
that.
Well, can I finish, please?
I didn't ask you.
Can I
No,
finish,
but I didn't
please?
ask you that. No, because you're not answering my question, right? My question is,
Yeah, he doesn't.
is there a way to independently verify it?
I said no already.
Okay, so he's made a claim that there's no way to independently verify his claim that intelligent design is the most rational conclusion. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, if there is no way to independently verify it, in virtue of what is it not a just so story?
Right. So that's what I was going to answer, because we know by our own experience that when there is a finely tuned device for a specific function, it has always a fine tuner as the origin of that device. Therefore, this is an analogy to the
Doesn't
universe
sound
where
like,
we
you
have...
know,
Can I finish,
doesn't
please?
sound like
Just if it has a fine tuner, then the fine tuner himself or herself or itself has a fine tuner. Otangelo, you're arguing in circles. Okay, so what you're saying is everything that is fine-tuned has a fine-tuner. But the fine-tuner is fine-tuned, therefore the fine-tuner has a fine-tuner. I mean, it's your argument is ridiculous. Why do you're a smart guy, Otangelo, why do you persist in talking nonsense? You know, it's time to grow up. Fantasies are for children and not for adults like you.
Why do you
know what a
interrupt
just so
me?
story is?
Why are you interrupting
Because-
me?
Hey, guys, come on, just a second. Okay,
So
attention.
do you know what a just so story is?
Okay,
Yes,
so this was originally taken off of Canadian Catholic's channel, I think, because I just heard him pretending to moderate.
I do.
What is it?
It is a story which has no evidence to back up the story.
No, that's not what it is. You flunked.
You flunked!
Okay, so just a point of order. So basically, Otangelo, just so story is the kind of evidence someone gives that's extremely post hoc, and that's simply its only design is to explain some fact. It doesn't make any novel predictions. That's a just so story.
All right.
Well, I think I said already that by our own, we don't need to make predictions in regards of that fact, because we have already knowledge through our own experience as intelligent beings that we are capable of producing finely tuned devices for specific functions.
Yes, we are. Absolutely. So what? We weren't created like that with, intelligence and everything. We not only did we evolve, Otangelo, but it took us, in some cases, 30 years, 25 years to hone a skill, or from birth to skill. So the fine-tuning is not a random thing, or it's not a maybe that's not the right word to use. The fine-tuning is not an argument for intelligent design, because every fine-tuned thing that has a fine-tuner, which is a fine-tuned thing, has a fine-tuner. It's circular, Otangelo. You're a very, very naughty boy and you flunk. It's only not even 4 minutes into a 15-minute discussion and you're already flunked, Otangelo.
Yeah, so the issue on the table is, are you providing something more than a just so story? Right? And what I understand a just so story to be is to be a hypothesis that lacks independent verification, right? So it only explains what it's designed to explain. Now, if you're not offering me any independent justification for the hypothesis, then it just seems that you're offering a just so story, right? Which is what I contended at the outset.
But if you use that line of reasoning, then you have to stick to scientism or verificationism, which is an epistemological framework, which I...
Scientism? Hold on a second. What did he just say? What did he just say?
If you use that line of reasoning, then you have to stick to scientism or verificationism.
Scientism or verificationism? Hold on, let me just cut in here. You have to stick to scientism or verificationism. Have you ever heard that before? Verificationism? I've never in my life heard that before. Scientism I've heard, but I have no idea what it really means. But why doesn't he just say you have to, empirically verify it? I think that's what he's trying to say. It's let's see what he says. Let's see what he says.
Which is an epistemological framework, which I think has been rejected 60.
Which is an epistemological framework which has been rejected. I'm sorry, I'm finding it very difficult to follow along with what this guy's saying. I'm just going to go back a bit.
Verificationism, which is an epistemological framework which I think has been rejected 60, 70 years ago. And today we include philosophy and theology in a framework together with science to come to meaningful.
We include theology. Jesus Christ, Alfred, are you serious?
I think that you have to stick to scientism or verificationism, which is an epistemological framework, which I think has been rejected 60, 70 years ago.
Okay, so scientism and verificationism has been rejected 60 or 70 years ago.
And today we include philosophy and theology.
And today we include philosophy and theology
in a framework together with science.
In the framework together with science.
To come to meaningful and case adequate conclusions and explanations.
To come to meaningful and adequate conclusions.
So therefore it is not necessary.
And explanations.
To verify if a fine-tuner was actually involved.
So therefore it's not necessary to verify if a fine-tuner was involved.
In fine-tuning the universe.
In fine-tuning the universe, sorry for this, but I want to get this right.
Can use abductive reasoning to the best explanation.
And you, okay, I'm sorry about that last bit. I was over-talking myself.
Tuner was actually involved in fine-tuning the universe. We can use abductive reasoning to the best explanation.
We can use abductive reasoning to the best explanation. Didn't he say something after that?
Yeah, I couldn't hear any of that. There was like some kind of echo.
Okay, say it
Okay,
again.
I think that scientism or verificationism is not an epistemological framework which is sound to investigate origins. And
He's
this
repeating
has
it.
been abandoned in philosophical circles about 60, 70 years ago.
60, 70 years ago. The fuck is he talking about? 60, 70 years ago. That was like in the 40s. He's talking about the after the Second World War situation time period. Why is he stuck there?
And today we include philosophy and theology with science to actually investigate origins. And therefore, abductive reasoning to the best explanation is perfectly valid to make a sound argument in regards of the fine-tuning of the universe.
I don't
Yeah,
agree at
so
all.
the echo, I still have the echo. Sorry.
Oh, I had the echo because my mic was unmuted. Otangelo, can you just briefly repeat that? Just briefly.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I am not adopting scientism or verificationism. In my epistemological framework to investigate origins, I use philosophy and theology,
Theology.
and I think that abductive reasoning to the best explanation is perfectly fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
abductive
well,
reasoning.
none of that is answering the objection.
Right.
Because I'm not.
Well, I
I'm not
think it
appealing
does.
to verification. I'm not appealing to verificationism or scientism. I'm granting the possibility of good abductive arguments, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pointing out that just so stories aren't good abductive explanations, right? They aren't good explanations.
Right.
You're conceding
Well, I repeat again that the evidence is not based on a just so claim, which is not backed up by science, but science has discovered that the universe requires to be very precisely tuned in order to be able to host life. That demands an explanation.
So science has discovered that, Otangelo. Science has also discovered that human evolution is a fact, Otangelo. Make up your mind. You can't support both sides in a football match, can you now?
There are three possible explanations. One is a fine tuner, the second is luck, and the third is physical necessity. Physical
Fine tuner, luck, physical necessity. Three choices, he says.
necessity is not a good explanation because there could be perfectly a universe without hosting life. So physical necessity is cancelled out.
What's life got to do with anything? If you have a universe without life, so what? You still got a universe with rocks or dust or whatever. Or you have a universe that doesn't have life yet because it's too young. Again, as is typical of Christians worldwide, Otangelo has not thought his argument through, not one little bit.
Chance is too unlikely, therefore design is the best.
The chance is too unlikely, he says, therefore the design is the best explanation. What a tool.
Case adequate explanation. Fine tuning usually requires a fine tuner.
Sorry, so I thought I'd asked you before whether there was independent justification for
Pretty
the
pathetic.
hypothesis, and I thought you said no.
Well, to the hypothesis that a fine tuner was involved, no. To the fact that the universe is finely tuned, that is a scientific fact.
Didn't ask you that. I asked you whether there was independent justification for the explanatory hypothesis.
I already told you.
So let's get clear on it. Is the answer yes or no?
No.
Great. So you're offering a
Offering what? Silence.
Otangelo, I have trouble hearing you.
Oh, okay, it's not me.
No, I think you cannot hear Jack.
Jack, did you cut out? Jack?
Well, if
Jack,
you
can you
cut
hear
out,
my voice?
if you cut out, oh,
Okay, did you cut out?
Yeah, I said he's offering a mere so story.
sounds distant. He said something about a just so story.
Okay, Canadian, if he thinks that, be it. I mean,
Sure.
whatever. Again, I will not repeat myself a third time. And if your conclusion is that I'm just making things up, be it.
That is exactly what you're doing, though. And we concluded, but not for the first time, but for every time we speak to you, we concluded, Otangelo. Well, let's get on here. There's a lot of dead air in this upload. Come on, there's got to be more. I'm just going to...
Just see that at the outset.
Oh, come on.
hold on. What did I miss? All right. Something's going to happen.
I don't understand why you wasted all my time rather than just see that at the outset.
Oh, come on.
Oh, good
I
timing.
mean, you already name called me the last time. If you think that I'm a time waster, simply don't engage me anymore and we are fine.
You see how butthurt he is? Otangelo is butthurt because his weak, feeble explanation was not it was almost like a slap in the face to Jack, who's an intelligent guy, and Otangelo is saying, when you take theology, philosophy, and science into consideration, and considering all the facts, you come to you discount the luck, and you discount the physical necessity, then you're left with an intelligent designer, a fine tuner. That seems to be Otangelo's argument. Pathetic, pathetic. I'm running the tape, but there seems to be some silence.
Yeah, Canadian, I am done with Jack. I don't want to continue this conversation. Okay.
But anyways, I wanted to run another
Like I said, butthurt.
one. Jack, this conversation is going anywhere. Otangelo, do you feel like presenting the kalam? I don't know if you have like 10 more minutes or 5 more minutes.
Oh no!
Yes, I do.
Otangelo is going to present the kalam. He's just bombed at his with his theory of creationism without the kalam. Oh, this is going to be stupendous. This is going to be nuclear. Let's go.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. Jack, not Mark, dude. What's up? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, let's
just
try
get on with it.
Actually, I
Get
need
on with
15
it,
more.
get on with it.
Jack, what's your objection to Otangelo's form of the kalam?
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Otangelo,
Sure.
can you present it?
Thank
And what's up, Mars?
No
Well,
much.
I think the
Don't
kalam,
interrupt.
I have just the standard versions. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe has a cause. Has a beginning. Therefore, the universe has a cause.
Universe began to exist.
Yeah, the universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe has a cause.
That doesn't mean anything. Obviously, the universe has a cause, but
Otangelo?
Yeah.
Hold on. Whoa,
Did you hear that?
guys. If the universe has a cause, and let's all, sure it does, but it's a natural, physical, scientific cause. Okay, there is only one existence, one dimension of existence, and that's the one we're in right now. So the kalam doesn't prove a damn thing. And he's probably still going to go back to his, we could discount physical necessity, we could discount luck. What you're left with is, fine-tuning. That's probably what he's going to say again, because that's his argument. There's three things, okay, the three possibilities for the existence of this universe. Physical necessity, luck, and fine-tuning or intelligent design. And he just discounts but the first two. Poof, poof. Must be intelligent design, must be a fine-tuning. Guess who that is? That's good. Let's do it. Okay, go for it. So now I think Otangelo is going to tell us about the kalam.
No.
Jack, can you repeat that? You're too muffled for me.
I think. Jack.
Otangelo, can you hear Jack?
No.
I can't hear Jack either. I know, Jack.
Jack, is that on your end?
Jerry. Sorry. That's why I'm
Jack.
subjecting you to this.
Can you speak up? Otangelo, can you hear Jack?
Yes, now I can hear him.
Okay, Jack, go ahead.
Hello, African humanist. Good
I
day,
can't
ma'am.
hear him.
Jack, try that again. I don't know why it's not working. Try again.
Come on, guys, get it together.
I said I don't understand why anybody would accept the first premise.
Of the kalam argument? Well,
He said he doesn't understand why anybody could accept or would accept the first premise of the kalam argument again.
of course, something cannot come from nothing. So the first premise is granted.
I don't hear Jack.
Well, except for God, supposedly, and he's something, but
Mars, wait, stop.
Believing
They're struggling to get Jack on board. Yeah. That's why I think this is probably the reason why Canadian Catholic streams aren't
Otangelo, are you having audio troubles?
so
No,
good.
no, I'm hearing you well, but I don't hear Jack talking.
We don't hear Jack.
But why don't you hear Jack talking? I don't understand. Isn't my... But give me a second. Well, let me try to share it again.
I'll repeat what I said.
Wait, give me a second. Jack, give me a second.
Can
Let
you hear
me...
me now?
Come
wait,
on,
give me a
guys.
second. Let me share
Come
the
on,
screen again.
guys. It's
Here you go. Jack, you need to come a little bit closer. Where is it? Where be? Share audio. Right, say it now. Can you hear that, Otangelo? Go ahead, say it.
I don't hear him.
Jack, yeah, speak up.
come on, Canadian Catholic.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Get it together, buddy.
Yeah. So believing that space-time has a beginning and that it doesn't have a cause doesn't commit one to the view that the universe came from nothing.
Correct.
So that's not a justification for
I just
Well,
said
why
that.
not?
because there's no nothing that was prior to the first moment in time.
So what was there?
There's nothing.
Okay, so there was nothing. So has nothing causal powers? Yes or no?
No, the point is there was no thing, right? I'm not saying there was a nothing. I'm saying there wasn't a thing.
So what was there?
There wasn't anything. There wasn't
Okay,
anything.
so if there was anything, there was nothing. That's the same thing.
No. If there was something, there always was something. This is the crux of the whole argument. There always was something. And what is that something? That something is energy. And what is energy? The energy is existence. It's reality. Always was. Never wasn't. It's really simple. I don't see even why we arguing about this or even talking about it. It's so obvious.
No. You understand, right, that to say that there wasn't something, right, which is to say a moment, a period of time in which there was nothing,
Mm-hmm.
right, is a different thing from saying that there was one, right? There was never any period of time before the first moment in space-time where there was nothing. So there's no nothing that precedes the first moment
Right.
in time on the view.
Okay, so what was
So
there?
when I say there was not anything, right? So when I say that space-time had a beginning and didn't have a cause, right? I'm not saying that it came from nothing.
So where did it come from?
Yeah, so the distinction is, which you're not getting, right, is you could have the view that you have a state of affairs, which is nothing, right? a state of affairs, let's say a world that exists in time without any concrete objects, right? And then at some moment of time, there's concrete objects in that world, right?
Can you have time without change?
So what Jack's saying is essentially what I said. You've got energy. That's it. Nothing else. You've got energy.
I don't see why not.
Well, so explain to me how can we have time without change?
Well, why would there be a contradiction entailed by that?
No, I mean you make.
You think though that with energy being infinite, not being created, or not being able to be created or destroyed, with energy being infinite, is there not a time relationship in some way or another? Because infinity dictates that there has to be motion, and motion can only happen in time. Am I wrong? Am I mixed up? That was just a thought.
The proposition, why not? You said why not? So I don't understand how there can be time without change. So I would like that you elucidate that to me.
Why would there be any incompatibility between those two things?
How do you measure time without change?
Well, what difference does it make? That's just an epistemic issue.
How do you measure?
No, that is an ontological issue.
How do you measure time without change? What does that mean? How do you measure time without change? Well, you have to assume that time stands still. I don't know. What are these people talking about?
How is it an ontological issue?
It is an issue of reality. How do you have time if there is no way to measure the passing of time?
Yeah, so I'm asking you why it would be required that there's a way to measure it for it to be the case.
Because otherwise you cannot have time.
That's just a claim.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think we are going nowhere, Jack. So I think this conversation is ending here. Okay?
Flunked.
Well, it sounds like you're not going anywhere. Sounds
Yeah.
like Jack answered every of your question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what's
flunked.
going on, Jack?
No, I mean you can make whatever claim you want, but if you are unable to back it up, then hey, be it. I mean, sorry, I don't
No,
see
but you
how
just
you can
made
have-
the claim that you can back up.
I said that in order for you to have time, you need to have change, and you need to have.
Yeah, but what's
the
the argument for
ability-
that?
Can I
You
finish,
didn't give an
please?
argument.
Can I finish, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
But hurt.
Okay, so in order for you to have time, you need to have a way to measure time. And
Why?
in order to measure time, you need to have change. And if
Yeah,
you
but
don't have change, you cannot have time.
Yeah, so what's the argument that in order to have time, you need to measure it?
That's the argument.
No,
Otherwise,
that's the claim. What's the argument for that claim?
Well, okay, so what is time?
I'm asking you for an argument.
No, I'm asking you what is time in your understanding.
I'm probably going to take time as some kind of a primitive, but I don't see why that's relevant.
Yeah.
You made the
I
claim
mean-
that you can't have time. So you made the claim that if you can't
So now he's embarrassed himself more after making his claims than he would have if he just kept his mouth shut.
measure time, then you can't have time. What's the argument for that?
Because time requires change. And in order to have change,
I'm just begging the question.
well, I mean, you
I
have
asked
to
you-
start from
You were
somewhere.
asked, why is it the case that you need change in order to have time? And you said, because you need to measure time. And if you can't measure time, there can't be any time. And then I asked you, what's the argument for that? And you went back to the initial claim, that if you don't have time, you don't have change.
Circular. Again.
That's just circular.
Okay, I will
Exactly.
quote here from Wikipedia in regards.
I don't want the quote, I want an
Wikipedia.
argument. I want
Yes, I
premises.
provide. Well,
I
since
want
you are not giving me,
premises and a
listen,
conclusion.
You see how he can't make an argument. He can't make a logical. He can't make a logical argument, a rational argument. So he runs to Wikipedia. For what?
if you
I don't want
listen,
I don't
if
want
you
I don't
are-
want to
okay,
I don't want you to read Wikipedia for me.
Guys, relax. Otangelo, relax. Okay.
I asked this moron for an argument.
Guys,
Read Wikipedia from you.
guys.
Fuck is wrong with you?
Moderator.
Guys, what's wrong? Oh my gosh, you made Otangelo run.
Oh, but
Jack, do you hate Otangelo?
How did you manage to get Jack on here?
Angela ran away.
Oh, nice.
Jack is just a troll. He doesn't try. Gus logos are. Why can't you hear Jack? Jack, speak up.
Let's hear them out. They've got another I
Jack?
don't know, 20 seconds.
Where did Jack go?
Jack.
Yes, it's crazy because Jack is
Angela
lying to me.
ran.
Did Jack leave?
Why is Jack? I can see him on your little screen thing. I see
he's
J-A. Yeah, J-A.
Oh, that's funny.
It's crazy because I got Jack. Fuck you, Mary.
Huh?
Oh,
All right, that's it.
Yeah, hi. Jack, can you hear me?
That's it. It's over. But that, let me just set that playback speed to normal again, because yeah. So there you go. Hello, chat. Let's have a look and see who's here. I know, Jerry. It's 4 a.m. It's 4:36 a.m. right now. I couldn't sleep. I just had sort of insomniac, I guess. And I did a show, and I thought, okay, that's it. I've done the show, and I'm gonna go and watch something, and I'm gonna go sleep. But while I was watching stuff, I came across this, and Otangelo was part of the previous, my previous episode that I broadcast earlier today, this morning, I guess. And when I came across this, I just had to share it because, you know, Otangelo is such a bright spark. So what does Ivan say? I think we need to put Otangelo under anesthesia so he fully understands the concept of nothing, of no thing. I have an idea. I think Otangelo walks around in a permanent reality coma. So he's probably halfway there already. Maybe the Krauss view of quantum nothingness being something has stripped some people up. Being in nothingness by Sartre is more the idea. Yeah, the Krauss view of quantum nothingness is not nothing. I agree. It's always something. The Sartre, I'd be very careful when comparing a philosopher's take on things to a scientist's take on things. I'd go with Krauss. Definitely go with Krauss. I can't deal with him, African humanist. With who? Otangelo? I don't blame you. But he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy. It's just that he's becoming very Darth Dawkins-esque. And I'm worried. I'm worried about him. His mental health is deteriorating. He's declining rapidly. Save Otangelo. We must save Otangelo. Anything else? Anything else we want to deal with, or is this going to be over? That's not bad, eh? Just about 40 minutes right now. I think we can call this a night. Thank you for watching and playing with me. Bye. Bad, eh? Just about 40 minutes right now. I think we can call this a night. Thank you for watching and playing with me. Bye.